time. Juliana's got us going here. Yeah. All right. So we're live. I just get excited saying that. I don't know. We're live. And now I'm going to introduce our guest today. I'm really, really excited. We've just had amazing guests now 2 weeks in a row and feel super fortunate. And I'm going to hopefully pronounce your name correctly, Rowena.
Rowena, Ro, whatever works. It's good with me.
Okay. So Rowena from Healing Mama Company, she's joining us today. I'm just going to let you go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us about Healing Mama Company first and your journey, because that's really one of them. I would say that was what hit me the most when I saw the website. And, we've worked with Healing Mama Company now for a few years. But like I was saying earlier, I never got to know the story behind it as well as I did this past week. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jackie and SITTI, for giving us this time today. I'm so excited to have some sips and chat. Healing Mama Co. Let's talk about an origin story. Yeah, let's do an origin story of Healing Mama Co. and why we need to exist in the first place. Because I can tell you this off the bat: if we did not need to exist, I would not be doing this work. But unfortunately, it's not happening. So we are here today. Healing Mama Co. It literally started when I was 8 months pregnant and turned into basically this. So this event occurred. This is our son 5 minutes out of the veg, and our midwife took this picture. So before our son came out, it started when I was actually just before 8 months. I was just about to get into my 8th month, very pregnant. We can all visualize an 8-month pregnant person. And my husband and I had just come back from backpacking the world. And we had backpacked the world for almost 2 years. So you can imagine we had come from this very minimalistic lifestyle. Whatever we could carry, that's all we needed in our life. We had each other, we were good. And now we're back in Canada, pregnant, about to bring in this human into the world. And coming back, we very, nicely told everyone in our world, we really don't want a baby shower. We don't want to have things we don't need. We don't want to overbuy or underbuy. We just want to have what we have, and if we need it, we'll get it. And we're first-time parents. We have no idea what we're doing, but we didn't want a baby shower because we didn't want all this stuff. Okay, so we get a surprise baby shower anyways, and we were so grateful for it. And a few weeks after that, again, I'm almost 8 months pregnant, my husband's best friend's wife, did you get that? My husband's best friend's wife, yes. So she just had her baby. Our babies are actually 6 months apart. So she was a very fresh new mama at this point. She gives me a gift bag. And I'm like, oh, babe, no, I'm good. We're so good. We don't need it. And she's like, no, this is for you, not for the baby. Okay, just trust me. You're going to want this stuff. And so I thank you so much. I opened the gift bag and I pull out a ketchup bottle, a legit ketchup bottle. And I was like, a ketchup bottle? She's, oh, it's like the ones they gave you at the hospital. You're going to use this on your vajayjay. It's totally fine. This will work just good. I'm like, great. I have a ketchup bottle for my vajayjay. Awesome. Let's keep going. And then I pull out alcohol-free witch hazel. I'm like,
oh. Wait. So the ketchup, was it like actual ketchup? What's in the ketchup bottle?
So it was a ketchup condiment bottle. So there was no actual ketchup in there. It was
there was nothing in it. Okay. I'm just like, I've never had a kid. So I'm getting
you to visualize all these things. So it's the squirt bottle that you would put condiments in it. The general idea is ketchup. So it's an empty squirt ketchup bottle is what
got it. Okay.
From, I don't know, the local dollar store or whatever. So she's like, just trust me, it'll work the same way. You'll be good. I was like, okay. The ketchup bottle for my vag. Don't know what that means. Let's keep going. So then I pull out alcohol-free witch hazel, and I had gone, it was 30 plus years of life, and I've never heard of witch hazel. I'm like, what is this? What am I gonna do with this? She's like, just trust me. You're gonna put some in there. You're gonna make these things go popsicles. And I'm like, a what? She's like, it's a popsicle for your vajayjay. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what you're talking about. Is this English? So like it just kept happening. And after that moment, it very quickly hit me that I was so not prepared. We had done a 6-week prenatal program. We had a very amazing midwife team. At least we had the experience of having an amazing midwife team. And no one up to that point, like I said, I was almost 8 months pregnant, had told us anything about how to adequately prepare for childbirth, how to heal from the trauma of childbirth, and then what is postpartum. None of those conversations were in any of the classes and appointments that we had up to that point. And so the black hole of Google consumed my life. At 8 months pregnant, I spent all over 50 hours researching. Okay, what do I prepare? What is this list? What is this list? Some people call it a hospital bag list. I called it the list of having a baby out of my body, and what do I need to prepare? And so after this ridiculous amount of research, I had like this mile-long list thinking, I have like 30 or 40 products in here. I now have to go out and buy all these things. Now, where am I going to go and get it? And that is when the next aha moment. The first one was, holy crap, I am not prepared for myself. My baby's got so much, I don't even know, so much, but me, oh gosh. And then the next aha moment was, there's got to be a company that's already doing this, putting all these products together. There's just got to be, right? There's box subscriptions for everything nowadays. I'm like, there's got to be a company. Here goes the next part of research going into, okay, what's out there? What is in the marketplace? And mind you, this is 2018 I'm doing this. So this is pre-pandemic.
This is pre-pandemic, but still very recent.
Yes, still recent enough, but everything just gets worse during the pandemic. So this is worse pre-pandemic, and it just is worse in pandemic. So pre-pandemic, I realized through my research that there was no boxes or kits or any type of model that existed out there for me to buy all of this stuff in one shot. And what was available were kits. I couldn't find not one kit with more than 12 items that wasn't going to charge me more than $200 for this. And I'm like, what are these magical 12 items that are now going to take up this 30 plus list of products that are on my list of things that I need to get? And I realized I am not going to pay that much for so few items. This doesn't make sense. Why are these price points so high for an inadequate amount that's considered an essential kit or an ultimate kit and all the names that people are using in this industry? And my professional background is as a certified financial planner, which is my formal title in formal life and what I did originally as my first business before we traveled the world. And so I look at the numbers and I look at this and I'm like, this price point doesn't make sense. I can do better. 8 months pregnant, I start waddling through 8 different shops. I even go to an expo at one of our convention centers because one of the vendors had really amazing postpartum products I wanted to try for myself. I had to go to 3 online stores, so 5 in person, 3 online. I went to 8 different places to get these products. And I was so frustrated about, I'm personally not frustrated, but I was frustrated that other moms have had to deal with this for so long. I was frustrated that this is what the state of care was for people giving birth. And that's the second aha moment. Someone has to do it better at a better price. And someone has to bring it all together. Because why I have to go to this company to get this product? I have to go to this marketplace to get all these products. Why aren't any of these amazing brands talking to each other? Where is the Amazon for childbirth and postpartum care? It doesn't exist. And fast forward, have the baby, go into this childbirth experience. Imagine this, okay, Jackie? A 6-tier bookshelf. Coming from living out of a backpack to a 6-tier bookshelf stacked with products that I'm going to use just for me, nothing for the baby, just me.
But it goes to show you, it goes to show you, right? Like we really don't put, maybe I'm jumping ahead here in the story, right? We really don't put women's health first. Like this is just not something we do as a culture. Like
no. And you can see how, I'm going to put it there, how male dominated the healthcare industry for childbirth is, because it did not take into consideration the female recovery process and the entire physical experience, not even considering the mental experience, the physical experience from that trauma called birth. Because medically, that's what it is. Your body goes through a physical trauma when you're giving birth, and then it goes through a physical recovery. Like I said, not even considering the mental load from giving birth. And so this recovery regimen, it just doesn't exist in our healthcare system. And if it did exist, trust me, I would not be doing this work. I don't have a health background. I have a finance background. I don't have an e-commerce background. I backpack the world. That's what I got. Give birth to a kid. So I told my husband, if we're going to do this company, because it's the same girlfriend that kind of gave me that, she's like, "Bro, this might be a good idea for a business." I was like, "Oh man, don't tempt me. Oh gosh, don't tempt me." So my husband and I basically said, if this is a possibility of us doing this, let's be the first test parents.
Yeah.
So we had 6-tier. I wish I took a picture of the 6-tier bookshelf stacked with everything. And we're like, are we really going to use it? We're like, we have no idea. We've never done this. Let's just go see how it goes. And Jackie, I can tell you, 3 months postpartum, that bookshelf was almost empty.
Wow.
And I was shocked. My husband was shocked. My husband was the one who said, how can we take this bookshelf and give it to all parents? I was like, I don't know, babe. We'll figure this out. We just had the baby.
I just gave birth. Let me get through this first.
Yeah, let's get this all together. And so that was the origin story. And then we started beta testing on different moms that we knew who were giving birth within that year, 2018. We had different iterations. And then we eventually launched our first collection of kits in 2019. December 1st, 2019 was our first official launch date, but we don't actually use that as our birth date. We actually use August 6th, 2020 as our rebirth date. If you'd like to know that story, I am happy to share that story.
Yeah. So wait, why the rebirth date?
Great question, Jackie. Let me tell you. So
I really don't have to do any work here. This is all super interesting. So I'm sitting back.
Okay, so good. So we launched. We have December 2019. We launched. At that point, we had like 8 different kits, and I'm thinking, oh, we've got everything for everybody. This is great. 7 months later, I get invited on the Female Empowerment Project call, and it is a call hosted by 4 powerhouse entrepreneurs. And it was me and 19 other female businesses that were invited on the call. Tell them my idea, or at least what we're doing. And what I really wanted to do was get on a one-on-one call with one of the founders on that call, because she had postpartum care products that I wanted in Healing Mama Co. So that happened, got a one-on-one call with her after this group call. And it was supposed to be a 20-minute call, ended up being 52 minutes. And in that 52 minutes, what had happened was, but before that, I sent her what we had at the time, our ultimate kit. We still have an ultimate kit today, but it was the very first iteration of our ultimate version. Sent it to her, and she was extremely tactical in her remarks, comments, feedback. And I'm going to tell you how I boiled down that 52 minutes in my head. So it's basically the last sentence she told me, which was, Rowena, what you're doing is needed, but you need to do it better. Okay. Yeah, what you said. I'm going to do it better. I don't know how.
Always the hardest words to hear, but also the most important words to hear.
Yes, because I very quickly after that call realized I don't know anything about anything, and I need to start from scratch. So I called my team like hours after that call, and I was like, all right, team, we are going to scrap everything that we have been doing, and we're going to start from scratch. They look, there's just silence. Nothing. What? Are you speaking in English?
They're like, do we still exist?
What does that mean? And I basically said, okay, we're going to redesign the company. We're going to relaunch it. We're going to recalibrate. We're going to do everything from scratch. Close the company down for 2.5 weeks. Officially closed our site for 2.5 weeks, but the entire redesign took 6.5 weeks. So what took me almost 2 years to launch Healing Mama Co., I obliterated, restarted in 6.5 weeks.
Wow.
It was a crazy time in our world. And we launched on August 6th, 2020. And that is why we call August 6, 2020 our rebirth date, because when we came back to market, we came back to market with a very clear picture of what it is the birthing community actually needs from a retail company versus what I thought it needs, which is what I said earlier. I don't know anything about anything. So,
But you'll
when we
find
came
that
back,
you'll find that in business, I think, all the time. And I think any business founder or co-founder can speak to this, is like, you are going to have these periodic moments of realizing, I don't know anything about anything. Like, it happens. And we still have those moments today too. I
oh
mean,
yeah, I mean,
because
this
I
is also
think,
a life.
right,
This
it's
is
a life.
all
Yeah,
life. It's a life
exactly.
occurrence. That's a regular and ongoing occurrence. Yeah.
If you don't have those moments periodically throughout your life, then something is wrong, right? Like,
Yes.
then you're
Yes.
too big for your britches, for sure.
Yes. We don't
But
ever want to be a know-it-all, because a know-it-all are the people who have very little progress
right,
in
right,
whatever it is that they want to lead with their life. And
right,
so,
exactly.
yeah, it very much is that. And we came back with a Healing Mama Co. based on 3 core pillars that we now knew the birthing community needs. And so that is who we are today, and that is what we embody in all the work that we do. And very quickly, our pillars are revolutionizing the childbirth industry, providing the easiest access to all the childbirth postpartum care products, and giving back to the parts of the birthing community that do not have the access or resources to the products that they need and deserve. And so those are the pillars of Healing Mama Co. And every day we hope to live up to those pillars in all the work that we're doing.
That's amazing. And I just, you know, hearing your story, it brings up so many things for me. I don't have kids. Someday hope to have kids, but the, I think that there's so much about the childbirth process for women, and it happens, right, like at every day, every moment of that process, where I know friends of mine have spoken to this, and I've heard this from other women. It's like, you really, it can be a very lonely place sometimes, because you're often in this society where, yeah, there's no discussion around it, really. There's no um like
Oh, yes. Lantinol just did a survey. 95% of moms think that new mothers are not adequately supported by our society. It's a
right.
95% stat. And
That doesn't surprise
88%.
me.
It's not surprising that new mothers are not adequately supported. And it's not surprising that 88% of moms were not prepared for postpartum at all. That number needs to be 8, not 88. And that
Right.
speaks to the amount of lack that exists in our healthcare systems. And it exists that also doesn't exist in the conversations, both globally, nationally, from a community standpoint. It's just not loud enough.
Right. Right. And I mean, now I live in the US. You're over there in Canada. um we have a team in Jordan. And I mean, I think it's really interesting too, because this is also a universal experience, right? It's not just one country. It's not just one culture. And I think that's
Yes.
also a common misconception, is like, oh, certain cultures like don't treat women appropriately than others. And it's like, no, 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 this is across the board. Like,
Or
you think you're
consistent.
better than someone else, you're not. Because frankly, I know plenty of women in North America, I mean, there have been, and like you said, there's been studies. And I know that last year I think it was last year or 2020, there was a New York Times expose that came out, a long, in-depth piece that was done on women during the pandemic who had children, and
Mm.
who were talking about just the complete lack of services, but also there was really no regard for women and mothers who
Yeah.
were dealing with not just in childbirth and having children and that whole process, but then mothers with children at home, who, and that's a whole nother conversation, but homeschooling and all of that stuff, and how everything kind of fell on the women and the mothers to do that work. But then women are also the ones who are pushing a human body out of their human body. And
Yes.
there's just like people, I mean, it's a natural process, right? And I think that's also where correct me if I'm wrong here, but like, that's kind of where the disconnect happens, or the misunderstanding is like, we all know this is a natural process. Childbirth, women's bodies are built to be able to withstand this. But then we kind of think, oh, okay, so it should just happen. Like, it's not going to cause any trauma, and I think you touched on this earlier, right? Like, the body goes through intense trauma in childbirth and
Yes.
throughout pregnancy. And because we're always taught that this is such a natural process, we tend to overlook the fact that, yeah, it's a natural process, but it's also naturally very traumatic and requires a lot physically and mentally from the woman.
Yes. And you need a proper healing and recovery regimen. So I'll just share this with you. I've said this. I've shared this publicly when just before I went into surgery. So last fall, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. Sorry if this is a shock for you too. So I was diagnosed
Wow,
with
I'm
colon
so
cancer.
sorry about that. Oh God.
It's I a month ago I got a clean bill of health. So we're
Oh,
doing
wow.
well. So I get diagnosed. I go through just in and out of the hospital for 3 months, and then I go into surgery on December 8th. Up to that point, it very much and the only other bigger event, physical and health event I'd ever had was giving birth. So for me, it's how does this experience stack up against having,
Mm,
and not in a comparison, just let me just see how it is. Is it better, worse, more, less, same? And so I go into this surgery, and then it's I'm told how long my recovery process is. I get a whole like a few pages of what I need for recovery and all of this, and I have my follow-up consultations and all of these events happen after in my recovery. And I very quickly realized that yes, my right laparoscopic surgery or hemicolectomy that I had is a major surgery. But taking a human out of your body in either vaginal or cesarean is also a major physical health event.
mm,
And the level of care that I received from my post operation was top notch. Did not even come close to what I got as a postpartum mom. I mean,
mm.
I just had a postpartum mom come up to me on Tuesday saying they didn't even look at my vagina at my 6-week appointment to see if it was
Wow.
healing well. They just asked me how I was doing and is the baby okay? Okay, if anything comes up, come back, come to emergency. And I was like, and this is on Tuesday, like 2 days ago that a postpartum mom shared that with me. And I was
Wow.
like, this is just how, so everything else exists. The recovery routine exists for all other major surgeries
Mm.
and traumas to the body. But why is there not a recovery routine for giving birth? And so again, this is why Healing Mama coexists, because we literally give you everything for childbirth and postpartum care in a bag. We've had many amazing doulas share one of the best comments we get, which is our bags are like a doula in a bag. Oh my God, the first time I heard that, I think I fell to the ground because it was one of the best things I had ever heard. And then I had a paramedic say our bags are like first aid kit. And I was like, oh my God, yes,
Wow.
that's even yes. Oh my God, I'll take all the words. I just call them a bag, but you can call them whatever you want to call them. But this is why we do the work that we do, because it is not a clear-cut standard for people going into birth that this is what you need to do. So we literally created the healing and recovery regimen that how to adequately prepare and heal from the trauma of birth. And we don't just, we knew we didn't want to give you a box because, like we said earlier, no one's going to
Yeah.
bring a box to the hospital. And even at home, the last thing you want to do is funneling through a box. So I'm just going to very quickly show you. So the bag, and when you open the bag, everything is organized in my backpacking world in packing cubes and packing pouches,
Oh,
because
wow.
the last thing mamas need to do is just, where is it? Where is that thing that I'm looking for? Yeah, no, we're not we're not going to do that. Especially when the head is like coming out, like, we just need to
Right.
get the thing as quickly.
It's like, let me sip to the bottom of the bag. Well, I mean, I think we all know that feeling too, where you're just like, you open your purse and your purse is just filled with stuff and you're
All
like
the things.
literally digging down to the bottom of the hole with your hand,
Yeah.
picking out God knows what. I mean, okay, well, first of all, I have to say, incredibly courageous and really appreciate you sharing your experience with us with colon cancer. That is in and of itself an enormous moment. I think also as a mom, I can only imagine too, like going through that whole process must have been incredibly scary. And so, we
Yeah.
really just want to express like our huge support
Thank
for you on
you.
that. So glad to hear that you have a clean bill of health so far and right now, and
Yes.
that's so important.
Yes.
Um,
We're getting probed again next month to make sure everything is good, and then we're on
yeah,
yearly monitoring. But I'm just going to put it out there. It's very important, not only for people who are pregnant, but just to take a stand and know what your health is. Because
yeah,
having an understanding about the facts of your health has no way at all about the way that you want to lead your life, what the impact you want to have, the responsibilities that you have. Nothing will change by the facts of your life. So it's better to know what those facts are and be able to live accordingly. I've known about my genetic mutation since 2011. I've done everything in my power to
mm,
be as healthy and proactive as possible. I was hoping to get to 40 before my first bout with cancer, but late 30s is close enough. I will take it. And so we were as prepared as possible
mm,
for this first diagnosis. And the reality for people with my genetic mutation, which is called Lynch syndrome, it can happen multiple times in your life. So knowing
mm,
what your genetic markers are is very important. And in some states and parts of Canada, you have to request to get a genetic test. But
yeah,
it's important because this idea of suffering through cancer is unnecessary. So I'm
yeah.
just gonna put that through there. You can thrive through it, and you can find it early if you know what to look for and if you know
That
what to do. But if you don't know, that is where the problems arise.
Yeah. Well, and I think, just kind of taking this also back to the conversation around motherhood and postpartum, and there's a lot to be said for the fact that women, and I think mothers in particular tend to put themselves last when it comes to their health, and this is again, it's a cultural phenomenon we see everywhere, which is that
Yeah,
you have a child and suddenly your whole world is revolving around that human
yeah,
being, right? And I think we're just instinctually taught, okay, take care of everybody around you before you take, and I'm not saying every woman is like this, but culturally it is very common. Like every
yeah.
woman for the most part
And this is
is,
this is global. This is not just a North
yes,
American. This is something
absolutely.
I've firsthand seen in my travels of what many women around the world do and deal with and face on a daily basis, and it's just not necessary anymore. And we need women to
Mhm.
do the airplane effect. When the air comes down, you put it on your face first, and then your child or anybody else with you. It's you first and everybody else after, because you cannot do, can I say shit? I'm going to say shit. You can't do shit if you are not available, if you are not workable, if you're not useful, if you do not have the ability to be able to show up for your responsibilities in life, nothing is going to work, period. And if you are pushing through and making it work, there are going to be consequences, good or bad.
Mhm.
There's going to be consequences to it. And we, as much as possible, want those consequences to be a positive outcome. And so
Right.
we need to let go of this idea of victimhood or survivorship, or it's everyone first and then me. It's not like that. And it is very much the opposite of being selfish. We need to be
Mhm.
selfish. We need to be way more selfish than the way that we are, because if we were more selfish with ourselves, we would be selfless with everyone else around us. It's
Right.
it's just a simple thing, but we have mixed up that equation in
Right.
societal
Right.
conversations.
Yeah. I mean, Nora and I, we talk about this all the time, and it's an ongoing conversation for us and for our team because we are a team of mostly women. I mean, we have been working with our team on the ground in Jordan, um, on these conversations too, because we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand, like you mentioned too. We've seen members of our team experience health issues, serious chronic health conditions, because they put themselves last. And it's not any fault of their own per se. It is because as women, we are just we are bred to do that. And we had a and this is something that's not unknown, because we've talked about this before publicly, but a really dear team member of ours, and a founding team member, back in the beginning of 2021, passed away. And she was not old. She was, a middle-aged younger woman who just incredible meaning to our whole team, and was really like a mother figure to most of our team members. But in that sense too, she often put herself last. She would put everybody else first ahead of her. And and we just it was a real it was a real turning point for us to see
Mm.
that, and to experience that, and just recognize, like, we can't we can't demand so much of each other and then not put self-care, and self-care meaning not like, oh, go get a manicure, right? It's like self-care as in, like, yeah, getting those annual, checkups for, if you have a genetic, predisposition, getting those regular checkups, or, making sure that you're doing your physicals every year, and those types of things, really advocating for us to take care of our own bodies and our own mental
Mhm.
health, before we're
Yes.
taking care of everyone else. And I mean, going back to now, like, what Healing Mama Co. is doing with these bags, I think is just amazing, because um, it just puts that into an actual product, right? Like, it puts
Yes.
that whole mindset into a literal bag, and is like,
Yes.
is handing
And you
you
take it with you.
permission, right? It's like
Yes.
permission to be like, no, 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 no. This is you taking care of yourself first. Oh, once you open this bag, you realize, right?
Yes.
So
And I'm
yeah, sorry.
actually ask me because I think we're going in the same direction. Go ahead. Keep
Oh,
going.
I don't know. But I mean, I want to know, like, okay, physically, like, what goes inside the bag, because
Okay, good, because that's the
okay,
direction I was going to. Okay, let's do it. Let's
because we're
jump right
talking
in.
about all these concepts, and, like, it's like, okay, so what is in the bag?
Okay,
What's in the bag?
what now? Where can I get it? What does it look like? Okay, just tell me. Okay, so I am so excited because this is the first time we're actually saying this on a public platform. We are launching now. We have been working on this since before I was diagnosed, and as soon as I was diagnosed, everything stopped. Like you can imagine, I mean, I'm the one running the show here, and my team is working with me, but also there's so much they can do without me. So we stopped everything for the entire last quarter. All of our plans was just halted, and it just gave me enough time to step back from the business, take care of myself, have surgery, recover, and then I came back to work on February 1st. And then we're like, okay, we need to get the ball rolling. And then the war in Ukraine happened. So we'll talk about later about how that kind of affected the trajectory of what we've been doing over the last 6 weeks. But so February 1st started, and we're like, hey, let's do this. Let's get us back on track, which is, I'm excited to share. The first fully functional labor and postpartum kit is going to be launching into Amazon, because yes, you can buy our bags directly from our site, but we know that in order to get in front of the people who are giving birth, we need to be on the biggest platforms as possible so that people are aware that they have an option now and that they can find us. That's the big thing. We're investing a ton of money in marketing, SEO, and getting us out there, but that can only get you so far in the long run. Sorry, in the short term, it's like a huge waiting game. You know this as a online business as well. So we are launching that into Amazon. It's basically going to be our bag but it's going to be in a box. So you'll still get our bag. Don't worry about that. Now, when you actually open the bag, this is where the magic actually happens. And this is the magic for the person giving birth and also your support people, your partner, your husband, your the person who is helping you bring this person into the world. This will help all of our lives make that experience that much more simpler. And so when you open the bag, like I said, you're going to get your packing cubes and packing pouches. But here is how we systematically organized our medically backed bundles. So on our bags, you're going to notice that each bundle has 2 cards attached to it. And this is what's really key, because not only did we want to not give you another box filled with stuff, and then you have to still go on Dr. Google to figure out, okay, when do I use this? How do I use this? What are all the ways that I can use this? Let's just eliminate the need to Google as much as possible. And so we give you 2 cards attached to every bundle. The first bundle, the first card, which is a smaller card, will tell you exactly where you're going to keep this bundle. So while you're in labor and postpartum, you want to keep this bundle, which is called the Keep Me by the Bedside bundle. Very simple instructions. No more than 1 arm's length away from you while you're laboring and into postpartum care. These are all the products you want to have easy access to. You can also put your personal care items in here, or the personal items you want to keep close to you. Cell phone, charger, money, ID, wallets, more snacks, all those things. You throw it in this bundle. And because everything is in travel packing cubes and pouches, we can use them after postpartum. So family vacations, camping, home organization. We did our best to eliminate as much single-use plastic when we came back to market on August 2020. And so that's when we opted out and got travel packing cubes. There is a handful of single-use plastic, and that is there for hygienic purposes, which we cannot eliminate. Otherwise, where we could get rid of it, we did. And so the second card attached to each one of the bundles is an info card. It tells you exactly what is inside this bundle. And if there's a specific tip we need you to know about how to use a product most effectively, it's going to be on this info card. Otherwise, all of the tips, the how-tos, the hacks, combinations, all the ways that you can boost your healing in that postpartum period is going to be in your Healing Mama Guide. This is our encyclopedia to getting this human out of your body and everything in between. So childbirth, postpartum care, all the tips and how-tos for every single product in every single one of our bags is in here. And there's a ton of resources that are in here as well. So like I said, this is your encyclopedia. It's 170 page. Every bag gets one of these in it. And we tried to make it as compact as possible so you can easily read it, again, ideally ahead of time. And so in the bedside bundle, it's going to have all the products that you want to have on hand. I'm going to talk about specific products, but I just want to show you each bundle first so that it's very clear as to how it's organized so that moms know when they get it, it's just going to be laid out for me. So okay, I'm going to keep this by my bed. I'm at the hospital. I'm going to put it by my bed. This is very straightforward. And then we have the keep this in the washroom bundle. We like to call this packing cube the sexy side of postpartum. So it's got all of those fun things that every mom wants to have. So the info card and then sequence of use. So this was a question we got a lot. It's like, when do I use? Actually, I'll just quickly tell you the concept.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing before you go through that, because I want to ask, with that bundle that you put in the bathroom and with the one that you put in, your bedside. I mean, there's, with the bathroom bundle, I think this is probably, I mean, you say this, yeah, it's the most exciting, sexy part, but I think also this is the one where probably a lot of people are like not talking about it at all. Like these are the things that your mother didn't tell you about, or that you really need. So first I want to ask.
It literally says on the card, partners, support people, please put me in the washroom, at the hospital, birthing center, at home. So mom doesn't have to waddle and carry this bag with her after baby's out in the washroom, that it's already there waiting for her. One less thing for mama to do.
So when you put these together, what was the, I guess the process is, did you work with, was there any other team members that kind of helped you decipher what are the products that go in these particular places, but also
Mhm.
how these products are used most effectively? Because, like you mentioned, I mean, we all come from backgrounds that are not always exactly within the field that we're creating a product. We're not product development experts,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
did you have any sort of support from physicians in the development of
I
the
love this.
product? And yeah,
Great
I'm
question.
curious.
Great question. So, let me tell you about the Healing Mama panel of healthcare and wellness experts. And so, let me just tell you why I even developed this panel. It wasn't necessarily for product development, growth, and tips and efficiencies and things like that. It was actually because of my own experience. I was almost 6 months postpartum before I had even heard of what a pelvic floor physiotherapist was. And I don't even know what pelvic floor was. I was like, what is this person? Who are they? And they're gonna put their finger up my vag? Oh, okay. That's sure. I don't know why. And then I went to my first appointment. And I was like, why did I not come here sooner? Why didn't anyone tell me that one of the service providers in my postpartum care team needs to be a pelvic floor physiotherapist? How come? How come? That was another aha moment again after I'd already started the company. And so I was like, I need to bring in all of these experts in the different fields of prenatal and postpartum care. So I was like, okay, who do I know? I knew one doula, brought her on. I had a naturopathic doctor, I had a Reiki and meditation master, and a pelvic floor physiotherapist. That's where I started. I had 4 experts come onto our Healing Mama panel, give us their expertise. And then from there, it has snowballed. So now I have a total of 23 amazing pre and postnatal experts on our panel. And we only work with one expert in every field and every industry. So can you imagine like 23 different people from different fields, different industries, areas of expertise in pre and postnatal care have come together to be a part of the Healing Mama panel because they understand that the lack of resources and support is so astronomically huge that they were just like, applauding at the scenes. So we actually just are introducing 3 new experts on our panel. But you will find that every expert, we have given them a space in our guide. So you will find an original write-up from every single one of our experts that talks about the benefits of working with this type of a practitioner, what to look out for when you need to go and seek out one of these professionals, and any at-home practices that you can do on your own until you need to go and hit that wall and see a professional. And so they give you all of this advice and tips. And almost half of our guide is our experts giving you all the information that they can. And you won't find it anywhere else other than here in the Healing Mama Co guide, which comes
I
with every
feel
single
like I feel like this needs to be in every single baby shower
yeah,
everywhere.
registry
Like
everywhere, always.
how I mean, obviously, things are going, really well, and you guys are continuing to ramp up, but I'm like, this blows my mind, I guess, because of what we know from the lack of resources out there for women going through childbirth and postpartum. And it just, yeah, I
So,
feel like this
so
needs to be in
to your
every
question,
woman's house, like who
everyone
plans to have a kid.
needs to have you need to have this pink bag in your world. A baby's coming out, you need to have a pink bag in your world. If you don't have that pink bag, come to Healing Mom Co. We're going to send you one right away.
Yeah.
So the answer to your question is yes. Did I build this on my own? Of course, me and my husband started it. We had an idea of what went where. It was our idea to build it out based on where you're going to keep the products so they're not just laid out everywhere and no one can find anything. And then it came down to, okay, how do we most effectively use this? So of course it was a combination of our own research, and then it's a combination of our experts giving us their feedback. And
Mhm.
so I'll just tell you offhand right now, we just brought in, so we have a doula, traditional style doula, which is a career I didn't even know was a thing until, again, I already had a baby. So did not have a doula before and into childbirth, but we definitely thrived through that experience. But now we brought in a new style of doula into our panel, and that's an Ayurvedic doula. it's a different type of doula practice. And so she has one of our bags and she's gone through it and she gave us a really great tip. And that is for the prunes that are in our bedside bundle. Oh yeah, mamas, we're going to give you a whole bag of prunes. And you can use your imagination and guess why we give you a whole bag of prunes. If you want me to say it out loud, I am happy to say it out loud.
Oh, we won't. Yeah, we talk about all sorts of things here. We're an open book.
Amazing. So we give you a whole bag of prunes and we put it in the bedside bundle because as soon as baby's out, we need you to start taking your prunes. Even if you don't enjoy prunes, just take it for the first 24 to 48 hours or potentially 72 hours until that first shit literally comes out. We
Well,
want it to be as
because
possible.
it's like I mean, you said this before. This is a surge, like this is a major. If you're not getting fine, you may or may not have a C-section. So it may not be a surgery where, you're going through that process, but it's a major traumatic experience for your body. And I think a lot of people do know that, and if you don't, when you go through surgery, right, and post-surgery, one of the most important things is you've got to poop, like
Yeah, you have to be regular.
you have
Yes.
to, because your body is kind of like seizing up in this major
Yes.
traumatic time. And so there's definitely a need to like, okay, you got to get things going.
You gotta get that. And we want it to be smooth as possible, especially after a human just came out of your body. The last thing you want to do is pushing out a rock out of your ass. Like, we don't want that to happen. We don't. We want it. There are many women who express this anxiety about going shit for the first time after baby comes out. So we give you a whole bag of prunes. And I just jokingly say, once that shit's out, you still have prunes, just, I don't know, give it to the person you don't like that much, throw it into a shake or a salad, some ideas, but start taking prunes. There are other things you can take as well to help give your body the ability to have a very smooth bowel movement. Let's be grammatically correct here. Bowel movement. And we do provide it in our bundle. So we have a bundle called the Healthy Start Bundle for new mothers. And one of the products that are in there is magnesium citrate, specifically the citrate strain of magnesium. It will not only help relax the muscles that have been working intensely to get this baby out of your body, but it is also a natural laxative. So if you do not want to take the prunes, you can get our New Mama Healthy Start, and it comes with all your vitamin supplements and probiotics your body needs to adequately prepare and adequately heal after the event of birth. And you can also just go out and buy your own magnesium citrate. Start taking it as soon as possible. It will help your body heal and also give you that first really nice bowel movement to be nice and smooth as well. But I mean, that's just one of the products. Let me tell you about this, what my Ayurvedic doula told us. So like, we understand the prunes, but the body's going to be not only in its most nutritive depleted state after birth, but it will also be in its most dehydrated state after birth. As you are losing a lot of blood, a lot of mucus, a lot of tissues from the event of birth. And so you need to rehydrate your body. And prunes are clearly a dried fruit. So it's the opposite of hydrate. So we give you a tip of how to rehydrate your prunes so that your body is getting the nourishment it needs and the hydration it needs and the fiber it really needs after baby is coming up. And this is how we add in, as experts join our panel, they review all of our stuff, they see what we can do to improve it, add more tips, add more advice, and we do it. Like, we do it in a heartbeat. That was something we just added a month ago, and that's what's going to be in our bags when you receive them. And we do all of this because clearly nobody else is doing it.
Well, what was the most surprising thing that you didn't think about adding to the bag at first, or you, like, other people are kind of like, why is this in here, that like really has been a game changer for women?
Okay, so it's the prunes. Let's just be real about that. Most mamas are like, what? What am I going to use prunes for? I'm like, yeah, that's the first thing. Another product is Arnica montana. This is also in the bedside bundle. There is a total of over 15 products just in the bedside bundle. Our essential kit in total has over 30 items in it for a total of over 60 pieces. There's nobody in the market who's got a kit, a box, or a bag that even comes close to the amount of comprehensive and practical products and uses as Healing Mama Co does. So one of the products in our bedside bundle, so that this beautiful bundle right here, one of the 15 products is Arnica montana. Have you ever heard of Arnica montana?
I've heard of arnica, and it's been in like a salve, but I don't
Yes,
know how it would be
yes,
used in, postpartum or during pregnancy. How would you use it?
exactly. So Arnica montana is an all-natural homeopathic muscle and pain reliever. So you can take it safely in pregnancy. And our disclaimer is always check with your healthcare provider. If you have a naturopathic doctor, check with your naturopathic doctor. They will have the best knowledge. Can I tell you that every Western medicine doctor will understand what Arnica montana is? Maybe not. So you may have to seek out other professional healthcare advice. Your midwife may have experience, because our midwife is the one who actually told us about Arnica montana. After baby though, not before baby. So it would have been nice for us to have known this beforehand. So I actually had it available on the day the child came out of my body, but it's a different story for another day. So Arnica montana, you use it as a post-birth muscle and pain reliever. You can take the drugs that your OB or midwife will prescribe you to help deal with the pain. You can take them together, the arnica and the drugs, or if you do not want to take the drugs that you will get prescribed to help deal with the pain, you can take just the Arnica montana. So you'd pop 3 to 5 pellets under your tongue. You do not want to touch it. The cap actually twists and the pellets will fall in. Pop the cap with the pellets under your tongue. Let it dissolve. You can take this every 2 to 3 hours as soon as baby comes out. It will help reduce the swelling in your body, and it will also help relieve the pain. And you take for as long as you need to until the pain is gone. And it is safe to take while you're breastfeeding. This is something that every mom needs to know about. And because it's an all-natural homeopathic remedy, I give this to our toddler. So when he scrapes and hurts himself and he's in pain, I pop one in his mouth and he's extremely happy because he thinks it's candy. And now sometimes he just pretends to get hurt and asks for me for candy, and I know he's asking for arnica. But other than that, it's one of the many products where it's like we need to know what the alternatives are, because maybe not every person who's given birth wants to have the drugs.
Right. Or, in some instances, not everybody can afford the medications, or maybe, depending on what their insurance is. And I know things differ between Canada and the US, but in the US, your insurance doesn't always cover everything. So,
exactly.
On this topic, I want us to get to talk about what you've done recently with these kits, because this is where, my interest was piqued even more with what you're doing, was regarding
Jackie, pause. I know exactly where you're going to go, but I want to mention one other thing before we go into the next topic. Okay. So I would just want to mention this. In the Keep Me in the Washroom bundle, another thing that many moms may not be aware of is we give you a whole pack of diapers. And we do this because, I actually joke with moms, that we give you your first matching outfit with your newborn, because they get diapers, you get diapers, everybody's going to get diapers. So in your washroom pack, you do get the hospital grade mesh underwear. You do get the organic maternity pads, you get the under pads, and you get the adult diapers. Many moms don't know they're going to be wearing diapers, and that you and your baby are going to be doing the same thing together. And it's not because the maternity pad is not enough for you to handle what's called lochia, which is the type of bleeding that happens after birth. It can, but you don't want to have to be going to the washroom every hour or so having to change, because that is going to be the most amount of blood you will experience coming out of your body. And this is true for a vaginal birth and a cesarean birth, because blood is going to come out, mucus is going to come out, tissue is going to come out of your body. It's going to come out through the vagina. And you need something to be able to catch all of that, because it's not just liquid that's coming out. And so your best bet is adult diapers. And we give you.
And I think there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? There's so much taboo around talking about this stuff too, which I love about you and this product, because it just completely obliterates the wall that exists between what society wants to discuss and what really happens, right? And I think that that's like also, you know, I think that there's a lot of hush talking among, you know, women and mothers. Like, did you know this happens to you? Like, I remember the first thing that I learned that was like a big, oh my God, that happens is, you know, and now people I think know it more, but when a woman gives birth, she typically will poop like immediately in like the
Yes,
process
very
of giving
normal.
birth, right? It's
Yeah,
totally normal. And
totally normal.
and you know, I mean, yeah, it sounds
Not every person on the birthing table or bed will poop. I
right,
wasn't one of them. I actually woke up before having contractions to the extreme need to go shit. I'd never experienced that. Like I'd never been woken up from sleeping, having to go and run to the washroom and take a poop. But that's what my body did. Not
right.
every birthing person has that. It can happen literally as your baby's coming out, poop is coming out. Like it's very real. And it's
Yeah.
totally natural
But it's
because
like
it's
it's
just
totally
everything's moving.
yeah, yeah. And so I just I have to say that because I love that this just breaks down those walls um and
We
it
put
needs
it
to
in a
happen
packing
more.
cube, so it's nice and cute.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean,
And voila.
it can be gross and cute at the same time because
Oh,
that's like
always.
I mean, that's really
Yes,
what's happening at the end of the day, right? Like it's the yes, it's
exactly.
an amazing, beautiful thing to give birth. And it's a
But
very
but
complex
it's
experience
yeah,
too.
and it's gross. Like, it's just very real. It's gross. And
Yeah,
that's just what it is. It's gross physically because all of this is coming out. And then after, it's just a beautiful, magical experience, all kind of intertwined, living simultaneously together.
right,
We just
right,
need to be able to just talk about all of it so that everyone is aware about what to do and what not to do, what is appropriate,
right.
what is inappropriate. And then the last, sorry, I'm just going to mention the last bundle that comes in our essential bag,
Yeah.
which is the vajayjay cleansing bundle. Everyone needs the vajayjay cleansing bundle in your life because you're going to get this beautiful baby right here. It's called an upside down peri-wash bottle. So this is the one that comes in our bags. It is a 500 ml one, which is double the size of what the standard is in the industry right now.
Oh,
And we give you not only one spout head, which is the curved one, we also give you a straight spout head. So if your JJ cleansing needs are a little curvy, a little straight, we will have you fully covered in all the ways that your JJ cleansing needs are. And it comes in this really cute, reusable case because after postpartum, you can actually keep this as a personal travel bidet. So throw it into this case, put it in your luggage for vacations. You can go camping with it. Great. It's its own personal bidet. And then we give you
that's
the
awesome.
products to boost your vajayjay healing. And you don't have to remember anything I'm saying because we also give you a pamphlet. So you and your partner can do your best to boost your vajayjay healing after that post-birth experience. So this is what's in our essential bag. I'm just going to put this out there. All of the resources are what's key. So not only are the info cards that are attached to each bundle really important for you to be able to read ahead of time before going
Mhm.
into birth, you also want to definitely review your Healing Mama Guide. Like I said, this is your encyclopedia. We talk about everything in here. There's
Right.
nothing that's held back that's in here. We also give you the postpartum depression guide. What are the signs? What are the symptoms? Our tip for this is you share this with your partner so everybody's aware of what it is. In the Mama Guide, there is a page on paternal postpartum depression. So you, Mama, are
Mhm.
aware of what the signs and symptoms could be, should it be occurring in your partner. And we also give you the birthing guide. So we took out all the birthing material from this 170-page encyclopedia, gave it to you separately so you're not funneling through that massive guide. And it has, we feature Penny Simkin as our go-to resource for safe positions and all of the ways that labor can go. So you and your partner can employ all the positions that will work best to get that baby as comfortably out of your body as possible.
Hmm.
And then at the back of the birthing guide, we even give you an inspirational birthing journal. So as everything is happening, you can write it down, or if you end up having a really long labor, you can also write that down. I also do want to mention one other thing before we talk about our Ukraine campaign, which is we also have what's called a birthing partner bag. And it is a backpack because partners are not given. I mean, moms have a lack of resources, very clear, but partners are not even a part of the conversation at all.
Yeah.
They're not even
Yeah.
in the equation, even though it took the two of you to get to this stage, but
Right.
nobody talks to the partner. So we created an entire backpack system for them. There's 3 packing cubes and pouches in the birthing partner bag. And it's in a backpack because we know their hands are probably going to be super busy and or filled. So we literally put it on their back because we've got your back, and they can just grab it and go. And unlike the mom guide, which is, like I said, this encyclopedia, partners do get a guide as well, except their guide is in flashcards.
That's amazing. Is this, and I know we're running out of time, or we're running short on time, but I want to, I kind of want to touch on a couple of things. First, this is all amazing. And I can imagine too, or I guess my question is, would any of these materials be useful? Because, there are women too who've gone through pregnancy, but maybe they for one reason or another, they might have lost their child in pregnancy, or they might have had to go through an emergency abortion or C-section where, the child doesn't survive, and that happens. And so I imagine that these kits, because they're geared specifically towards the trauma of pregnancy and childbirth on the body, it's also a really important resource for women who, even if they lose the pregnancy, could still be really, really helpful.
Yes, because there is a postpartum period that occurs
Right.
when you lose your baby as well. Depending on when you've lost your baby and how far you were in pregnancy, will basically dictate the level of postpartum healing and recovery that your body and your physical mental state will go through. So yes, are our bags appropriate? Our bags are appropriate for all areas of birth, regardless of whether it's a vaginal birth, a cesarean birth, a successful birth, or an unsuccessful birth. Our bag will be there to support you through it all. This is something I've been working on for the last year. We just haven't had the resources to be able to do it, but we are working on what we're going to be calling the Healing Butterfly system. And that is meant for our birthing community that has had unsuccessful births. And so that resource will hopefully be rolling out within the next year. We've already got our panel set up for it, our products and items that will be going into that system. Now it's just a matter of getting our resources together to be able to have that kind of happen. But regardless of how birth happened, our bag will have you fully prepared. And so our essential bag, which is launching on Amazon, is fantastic for experienced mamas to be. It's also great if you've had a lot of friends and family already give you a ton of great products and you just need to top up with the essentials. That's what our essential bag is going to be amazing for. But what we highly recommend for all first-time mamas is our ultimate labor and postpartum bag. It's not a joke the way we use our words. Essential, for us, we deem essentials to be 30 minimum items. Ultimate comes with just under 50 items. There's over 100 pieces in our ultimate bag. It is everything that a first-time mama didn't know that she needed to know that no one told her about, and then includes everything that's in our essential bag. We also have the birthing partner bag in there as well. So yes, our bags will fully support you no matter how the birthing outcome is in your situation.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
amazing.
kind of tune into our world so you find out when our Healing Butterfly system
Please,
comes
let us know. And just finally, I wanted to touch a little bit on what you've done recently with the Ukrainian refugee women who were, and so was this with women in Ukraine? Was it with? Talk a little bit about that that experience before because I know we have to go soon, but
sure.
I want to hear a little bit about that. Yeah.
We can talk all day about this.
Yes. I know, I really could. It's super interesting stuff. So yeah, anyway, keep going.
So going back to our pillars. So our third pillar is our giving program, which is called the Healing Mama Giving Program. What that program entails is $5 to $10 from the sale of all of our kits and our bags goes towards the Healing Mama Giving Program. We then take this pool of money and we use that money to be able to pay for the high quality hospital grade products in our bags. So our essential labor and postpartum bag, we have a total of 4 bags in our collection. We use that money to pay for those essential bags, and we donate those bags to vulnerable, new, and expecting parents wherever the need is. So we don't work with one organization, one charity, or one entity around the world. We go where the need is the greatest at that moment. And so On February 24th, when the bombing started on Ukraine, that weekend, I saw footage of newborns being held in a makeshift bunker of a hospital basement. They're wrapped in blankets, ton of them lying on cots with attending nurses around. And the first thought I had was, holy crap, this is unbelievable what's happening. Second is, where are their moms and how do I get them my bags? They need my bags. They're giving birth in the middle of a war. How can I support them? And that was on a Sunday afternoon, 27 days after I'd come back to Healing Monaco after recovering from surgery. And I called the one contact, I texted the one contact I had who I was hoping would have an in to an organization on the ground that I could send my bags to, because I did not want to send money. And this is something that occurs for many people about any type of outreach, which is, yes, you want to back the charities and organizations doing work and you want to donate your money as much as possible. But there is also a need that people want to fulfill where they know that actual something tangible is going to the hands of the people that they can track and they can see. And I wanted to be able to do that with our bags. And so 17 days is how long it took for us to go back and forth. And we talked to a dozen organizations between the two of us. And I finally got in front of the Pirgo First Volunteer Mobile Hospital in Kiev, Ukraine. And they said, we love your bags. We do have new and expecting moms that we care for with our services in and around Kiev. We'll take 100 of them. And I said, amazing. I don't know how I'm going to get 100 bags to you, but I'm going to figure this out, because at that point we had had enough money pooled from all of our sales to be able to send 6 bags. We're like, that's not 100. So we started the Ukraine Giving campaign. And this was actually our second round of giving in the Healing Mama Giving program. I'd allied and we built this whole sponsorship program where people can sponsor bags to send to Ukraine. I had no idea if we were going to hit it. I had no idea how it would even turn out, but I knew that I had now the place to send it. I now had a shipper, a medical aid shipper that considered us as medical aid. And I now needed to find the funding to be able to do this, because there's a lot of product and it's a lot of time. And my entire team volunteered everything they could to get this up and running. But now it's like, okay, how do we get the money to do this? And in 55 days, so on March 17th, we launched our Ukraine Giving campaign. Last Wednesday was exactly 55 days. And we hit our goal and got to 105 bags sponsored.
That's amazing.
Amazing sponsors. And they got picked up on Thursday by Nice, and they are literally on the way to Kiev right now.
That's
So
amazing. That's incredible.
We will rock it. Yeah, we had like our brands rallied behind us and sent us product to add additional items into our bags. And it's just, yeah, the outpouring has been unbelievable. And we do this because that's what we can do. And what comes out of it has just been a positive consequence of this work. And so we will be doing a third round of giving with local charities and organizations in North America where we will donate our bags to. But that will be in our third round of giving that's going to happen in the fall. And we also do a 1 month long donation drive for maternity care, postpartum care, lactation, and newborn items when we do our rounds of giving here in North America. And then we distribute those products to organizations and charities who work in underserved communities along with our donated bags. But for this round, it was just our bags. So we sent 105 bags to Ukraine last Thursday.
That's incredible. And I think that, I mean, again, just going back to what you were saying earlier about how childbirth in and of itself and the process of pregnancy and postpartum is all so traumatic on the body. And to do that in a war zone, right? I mean, you can just even imagine, like, you can't imagine the extreme trauma that women are going through in that whole experience.
Exactly. That entire situation is not only stressful, fearful, worrisome, but there is a trauma that's going to occur at the same time. Not only like the mental trauma from being in war, but now physical trauma from giving birth during a war. And over 80,000 expecting people are going to give birth in the next 3 months in Ukraine. And all we did was help support 105. If we could do more, I would, but it's where we just,
Well,
yes. So this is where we
it
are.
makes a difference. It still makes a difference, and I think that it also brings a lot of awareness to the issues surrounding, surrounding pregnancy and postpartum experience in the just as stressful and traumatic and challenging environments of a war zone, and to just bring, I think, also bring attention to the fact that women are putting themselves, not just, I mean, they're really taking their lives and another human life into their own hands in that process, right? And they're doing everything they can to keep themselves safe and their families safe, but then
Right.
also they're keeping this other person safe, right? This
Mhm.
life that really just has no ability to advocate in that environment for itself.
Right.
And so it's like they deserve all the care in the world, these women. I think that we and oftentimes too, there are experiences of losing a child in that environment just as much. There's the need to care for a woman's body, regardless of where they are in that process, like you said. And so, we have, like you said, we have first aid kits. Why don't we have these as like the standard for
Yes.
women?
Why?
You know,
Why is it not?
um,
To this day, I still don't understand. And everything that has been told to me is budget. I'm like, no, that's not an appropriate response. I'm sorry.
yeah,
You've got the
yeah,
budget to have a veal parmesan for your patients. You've got the budget to give a mom her VJJ needs and her
right.
post-cesarean care needs and her mental health needs. Yeah, it's
Right. Well, I
costly.
mean, it comes down to human rights at the end of the day. Yeah. The right to health care, the right to, caring for the health of your own body, not just, the body you've pushed out into the world. So,
Yes, which is important, but it's also vastly important to have the person caring for that child to be cared for. In order
yes.
to have, a well cared for infant, you need to have a well cared for parent
Yeah.
taking care of
Yeah.
that baby. So
Yeah.
that that is that, and we're so happy to have SITTI as a part of our bags, because they are included in our ultimate bag and our cesarean bag, because that is where your
Yeah.
products exist. They fit perfectly because it is fully unscented. It is 100% organic and handcrafted. And the social enterprise behind it just makes us want to have this in our bags. And most parents don't know that it's critically important to be as unscented as possible for the first 4 to 6 weeks of your baby's
Mhm.
new life. They've never smelled before. All they want is the smell of your skin and your body. They don't want all that other stuff. So to keeping your body as unscented as possible, when we were sourcing out unscented soaps, we're like, where are we gonna go? Then I saw something about SITTI. I'm like, I'm reaching out to them. I'm reaching out to them.
That's
And they're gonna
amazing.
go.
And actually I didn't know that. That's really interesting. I We're just we're so proud to be a part of it, and as we've said before, and like you said, we wish we could even do more. And so hopefully, as we continue to move forward, like we just want to make sure everybody who needs one of these bags has one. We want to continue to work with Healing Mama. It's just such a privilege. So thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey and your product journey. And thank you for working with us. It's really,
For sure.
yeah, we love it. So
Yes.
I'm
Thank you
gonna
for yours.
Yes, thank you so much, Rowena. I'm going to close out today's talk. I think I could just go on and on about this stuff, but I know at some point people need to get back to their lives. So thank you so much. We're going to post information on how to get one of your bags on the video here today. We're going to make sure people know about this. We're going to, if you haven't signed up for our emails, anybody who watches this, please sign up for our emails. You'll get information on Healing Mama Co. and be able to rewatch this video again. But thank you so much, Rowena. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much, Jackie. This was fantastic. And if anyone has any questions, reach out to us anytime. We are real people responding to every DM and email and call that we get.
Yeah, thank you. All right, have a good one, Rowena. I'm gonna end it here.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Jackie.